All right, folks, good evening. This is Papa Bear, and this way. I keep pointing the wrong way. Introduce yourself, Big Dog. All right, and that's Big Dog, and
I'm the big dog, Rob Scott.
Rob Scott, and I'm Craig Bland. And we have with us Jamison Brummel. Brummel, is that how you say your last name?
Yeah, that's right. That's correct.
Okay. I got a. I'm sorry, I got a cough drop in my mouth, so it sounded really bad.
Doesn't bother
I've
me.
been I've been dealing with 2 months of a cough, but it's gone. The cough's gone away. I just my throat is cruddy. It's hard to talk. So, but here we are, and yeah, Jameson was telling me about some new music, so we had to get him back on. And but first of all, for anybody who doesn't know who he is, and Ashes of Tyranny, um, why don't you tell them about yourself again, Jameson, and we'll go from
Okay.
there.
Well, first off, if you see me looking over in this direction, like I'm not paying attention, that's where my other monitor is located. So, um,
Okay.
I'm actually trying to pull up this stream on Facebook as well,
Okay.
just to
Good.
get the chat and things. But anyway, so I have been doing music since I was a junior in high school. I got my
Mm-hmm.
first guitar then, and
Mm-hmm.
well, I didn't get it. My mom got it. So, God bless her for putting up with all of everything over the years. But anyway, so that's where I started. One of my buddies, which actually it does have a um, guitar solo in one of the songs we're going to listen to, he has been with me and my project pretty much as long as we've existed.
Okay.
And so I learned guitar because he played it first, and I said, "Hey, that looks like fun," and so he taught me a few things, and then I basically learned for myself. But anyway, long story short, been doing this a long time. My kind of epiphany moment when I figured out that this music thing was a big deal and I really wanted to do something in a big way was when I first listened to, and it was a cassette tape of Metallica's The Black Album. Was my first sort of breaking
Mm-hmm.
my teeth on some form of aggressive music, and so that kind of started me down the road, and I've just kind of gotten more um, specialized and more aggressive as we go on. I've kind of settled into uh, what people might call groove core, something like that. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
when I write songs myself, I tend to make it very thematic, and so there will be these sections that appear over and over again. Um, and I don't know, I just like to do things that way, and then I kind of like sometimes I'll do section A, and then the next time section A rolls around, there will be something different incorporated in it, and um,
Mm-hmm.
switch things up like that. But anyway, yeah, so that's kind of about me and a little bit of I um, how I structure my music, and the inspiration um, is all that guy. So I do what I can, and that's another thing that I did here a couple of years ago was Ashes of Tyranny, which is the main project band, whatever. We don't play out live, that's why I call it a project. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so, anyway, it has existed since probably 2012,
Okay.
um, except for here just in the last couple of years, I've decided and done um, really just making it more of a specifically Christian effort. And the last album that we put out, full length album, Hope in Times of Pain, that was a specifically labeled a Christian metal album.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what you're going to hear if you hear my original songs is somewhere in the realm of Metallica to Killswitch Engage
Mm-hmm.
sorts of influences. All That Remains is in there a little bit of Tool, just a lot of your standard hard rock and metal influences, plus a little bit of just my own seasoning in there. There is one collaboration I think that we're going to listen to where I actually didn't do the music, another guy did. His name is Jason Sparks, and basically he sent me a few tracks and said, hey, I like your vocals. Can you listen to some of these and see if these sound like you want to put something over the top of them? So we actually created a separate project just for the stuff that him and I are going to do together, and it's called Chamber of Ashes, is that project's name. But so you're going to hear one also tonight that he did the music for. He sent it to me. I kind of cut a hole for the vocals and I mixed it a little bit differently, and then put the mastering touches on it. So he did the music, I did the vocals on that one. And then the other one we're going to hear is just a single. It's not on an album yet or anything. And I wrote it for the late Charlie Kirk, and it's called Martyr. And that one is fully original. I did all the music and the vocals. My drummer helped me with the imagining of the drums. I guess I use a program for it, a MIDI program, just because I don't have the space for really a full drum kit. And I do have an E kit here that he recorded some of the parts on. My drummer Josh White, and then Adam Kaler, which is the guy that I mentioned earlier that first taught me some of the stuff. Mostly Nirvana, actually, is what he taught me on guitar. And then, but he has a solo. He has a guitar solo. He's been my lead player when I need somebody to really smoke a guitar solo. If I don't make it up myself, I'll have him do it, because he's just better at he's better at lead playing than I am. I'm okay, but I do mostly rhythms and licks and things that are more rehearsed and planned out, and he's better at just kind of whipping things out of his butt and doing them. So anyway, yeah, that may or may not have answered your question, but there you go.
Yeah. Well, it definitely answered mine. I kind of knew some of the stuff, not all of it. But the other thing, I had a question, and I never asked this before, but how many hours do you spend doing these things? Like, how do you do it when you're putting together songs and an album or anything?
It really depends on where the inspiration comes from, how, I guess, emotionally attached I am to the song at the time. The more into it I am, the quicker it tends to go. The faster I get inspiration for lyrics and music and whatnot. And it kind of varies. Sometimes I get, it always starts with just me hearing something in my head. And then sometimes it's vocals and a vocal line, sometimes it's a guitar riff that I just hear, and then I put down, but whatever happens. So I put whatever came first down, and then I start to layer over that. So let's say it's guitar. So I put the guitar riff down. I usually take my drum program and I'll just put like a simple double bass pedal loop, some kind of just a simple beat. I don't use a metronome because I don't know if that feels too clinical to me. I don't like it. So I just put a pretty stiff drum loop to it that kind of fits the idea, and then I'll record over that. And then once I have all the guitars in and I have the bass part recorded and done, and then the vocals come after those things usually, and then I'll go back and I will rework the drums and program them to what I want them to sound like. And so but usually it's if I'm getting input from people, it's them just kind of like so Adam actually played the solo on the one song we're going to listen to. But as far as the drums go, my drummer Josh White, most of it was just him kind of. He did play a little on the E-kit, but we're still figuring that out. So most of it was just him kind of sitting and saying, "Hey, what about if you did this here or that there?" And and I played with him long enough to kind of know what his style is. So I sort of fashioned the drums after what he wanted or would want. He had a couple specific ideas that I incorporated, but mostly it's just, it's a I guess a digital process. I go straight into my computer with everything and do everything. I have input for a lot of it, but the actual procedural stuff is just me in front of my computer pushing buttons, and then eventually a finished song comes out.
All right. Well, actually, we have those songs. You sent them to me, and I also got Rob to listen to them. And Rob, what did you think when you heard them?
They were magnificent. Let me tell you, I had the pleasure of listening to them today because I drive a transport student, so I put music on, and while I was waiting for my student to come out today, I listened to both those songs and really liked both of them.
Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed them.
All right. Well, we're gonna start off playing one, as a matter of fact, and then the first one I'm gonna do is Martyr, and I got the one that you wanted me to play, which
Okay,
is the second one.
Good.
So we're here. We go.
Yeah.
There we go. That was the end, right?
Yeah,
Or
that
at
was
least,
the end.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I wasn't sure when to hit the stop button, so there we go. But yeah, that was. Yeah, I could tell those about Charlie Kirk, obviously. Um, I was thinking about that. We're talking. That it's a good song about being martyrs and what we are called to do. Okay, um, and you know, the truth is that Charlie Kirk is still being attacked, and he's not
Yeah.
even here. I just blows my mind how evil this world is, even here in the United States. But the way that they have treated him and his wife Erica Kirk, and so my wife and I pray for her and the family and Turning Point USA and all them, because I just think that they're still on the liberal media and
Oh yeah.
most of the world, um, coming at him from every angle, even churches, which is a shame. There are actual people that I don't know. You've seen this, Jameson, but on YouTube, there are people that are attacking Charlie Kirk's ministry, and they're from a church or Christians. They call themselves Christians. Okay, so I'm a little baffled at that. I don't understand that. I
Right.
think that they would champion something like that. The gospel getting out, but they don't. And
Yeah.
I mean, how do you feel?
I think it's a shame. I think he was a very important figure, and I think he said and did some very important and impactful things. I think he
Mhm.
was misunderstood for a lot of it. I know a lot on, well, let's say, I mean, there's many different groups and sects and all of that, but let's say the political left in the United States, a lot of them, I think, either just fundamentally misunderstand the things that he was saying, either on purpose or they just didn't get it. But none of what he actually said or meant by his words could be construed, in my opinion, to any rational mind to be racist or bigoted or any kind of thing like that. Because if you watch
Mhm.
his full length videos where he sat down and he just sat under his tent and he invited people to speak and said, "Prove me wrong." And he let people speak, and then he would do his rebuttal. And in every single one of those videos, um, almost in every one of those videos, if you watch the whole thing, you could see somebody coming up and speaking about um, something to do with the faith, something to do with Jesus Christ, and he would do his best to lead them in the right direction and lead. And he's led countless people, I think, to Jesus Christ just by the nature of what he did and who he was.
Mhm.
Um, and so, for no other reason than that, just leading people to Christ, and I uh, being killed for being who he was. It was basically it.
That's
And
right.
so the name of that song is "Martyr," and I think it's very appropriate.
Right.
Yeah, and I think Satan thought he won,
Mm-hmm.
but what happened was, out of that came some great things.
Yeah.
So I do think that that was true. And a lot of young people are starting to, they're changing their minds about things, and that was one of the things I thought was interesting, because I thought our youth were just, it was pointless to even go to them. I didn't even think that they were even going to come over to our side of things, because they'd been so warped in their thinking. But there are so many now that are going the other way,
Right. Yeah.
and I think that's because of some of the things he did. He got young people involved. That was one of the things that really helped spread the gospel, because these young people really, because it wasn't just politics. Everybody wants to call it politics, and yeah, sure, that was there, but he was talking other things, and he was bold about it. And you know it's amazing he wasn't shot before this. I mean, on it, or before that happened, because I know he angered people
Hmm.
with the things that he said. But guess what? Jesus said that would happen, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He he's just sort of following Jesus's playbook. He
Yeah.
he was just like Jesus. He was hated for what he did here on this earth, and um, so yeah,
Well, Jesus said, if they hate you, they really are hating me.
right, exactly.
I mean, honestly, that's where it's going to.
Yep.
But hey, Rob, do you have a question about the
No,
song or
I
anything?
think what I got out of Charlie Kirk is he spoke in love and truth.
Hmm.
He loved people and he spoke the truth.
Yeah. 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 We got that from him for sure. The other thing I bring this subject up because I was listening to something. Sometimes I'll listen to somebody who's preaching, okay, and they preach the gospel right on, okay. But then there's one thing that I disagree with them on, and I know it occurs in not more than one church, but this one guy in this church, and I'm not going to name him. I'm just saying that I was listening to him, and I was right in agreement with him up until he said something that I went, no, okay. But what he said was, and I want everybody's opinion on this, okay. What he said was Christian rock. There is no such thing. There is no such thing as Christian rock. In other words, he's saying it's impossible to attach Christian to rock music or rock music to Christianity. So what are your opinions on that?
I don't think he gives Jesus enough credit. I mean,
Yeah.
if we have a God that can make anything, can turn anything good, then why couldn't he do that with rock music?
Right.
So just like God uses unconventional means for his purpose and his spreading his message, I don't understand why why rock music is just so, no, he wouldn't do that. What are you talking about? Of course he would.
Right. Well, and if he reads his Bible and
Yeah.
really looks at the Bible, you'll see many times that God used even heathens
Oh yeah.
so, to accomplish his purpose. So, the thing is that, he God takes what Satan thinks he's got a hold on,
Yeah.
and he takes it and turns it totally different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I can say, in my experience, and Rob can tell me his, but in my experience, I've been in many Christian metal and rock groups concerts, and I've seen kids go forward and get saved and live for the Lord and even go into ministry. A friend of mine, Doug Schneider, was one of them. We went to see Resurrection Band. At that time, they were called Res. And Resurrection Band, he went to see him. The gospel was preached at the end, and he went forward and got saved. And now he's in full-time ministry. So talk about something that's pretty amazing, and he's worked with college students and getting the gospel out to universities that he goes to. But that was his main thing of ministry. And I thought, wow, I would have never guessed. And I'm telling you, because he was a high school buddy of mine, he was, he had alcohol problems, and it started at 11. He said he was 11 years old.
Wow.
He had alcohol problems, and he was getting into fights and getting into trouble in high school. I remember. And he seemed like an angry young kid. And part of it was his dad was an alcoholic and was kind of abusive. And so it carried over to him. And but the thing is that a person I never thought would change when I was in high school, okay, is now in full time ministry, and I'm like, that is awesome. See, I'm just saying and it was because of a rock concert he went to, and I thought that was cool. I mean, they're just, the Lord works in those ways, that the gospel is presented, either through the lyrics of the music or through the artist that's standing up there giving the message. Um, I've seen that, and people are, I've heard of people turning away from suicide because they hear a song, it stops them right in their tracks, and and they turn to Christ because of a song. So there's lots and lots of stories. But Rob, what do you think?
I agree with you. Um,
Hmm.
with me doing pro wrestling, I've done wrestling outreaches where we preached the gospel and gave an altar call and saw people come forward to receive Christ. And these
Hmm.
are the same people that people think are unreachable. But if
Hmm.
they'd rather go to a wrestling match from church, hey, we'll give them a message and go with it.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So, well, you answered my question though, as far as what they, like I said, that I heard that and I said, oh, no, there is such a thing as rock used by God, and I believe that it's not just rock music. I mean, it's every kind of music He can take and
Yeah.
use. Honestly, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't like hip hop, but He uses it.
Yeah.
I'm not a hip hop person, but I mean, and He uses all the different genres of music. There's just everything God can do. It's amazing. Um, but anyway, we had another song too. And this one, did you say your friend wrote this, Jamison?
So the guitar and the drums and the bass guitar, basically all the music, was done by a guy named Jason Sparks. Um, he and
Mm-hmm.
I have done. Uh, we just kind of have a project going, I guess, is the best way to say it. And his main project is Panic Chamber. My main project is Ashes of Tyranny. And so, just because I don't know, maybe we're too lazy to invent a new name. The project's name of us together is Chamber of Ashes. Uh,
Oh.
and so this one is called Echoes. It's another Christian metal song. He writes some of the music he writes is a little more, um, I don't know how to say it, just more driving than I would usually
Mm-hmm.
write. I tend to get a groove and kind of settle into that groove, and I kind of like the more sludgy, swampy kind of riffs.
Mm-hmm.
And he tends to gravitate more towards just really fast, um, energetic kind of stuff. I kind of wish that was my style when I wrote music, but it's not.
Oh, no.
This was a lot of fun to do the vocals. So basically, he sent me the song. I remastered it, and then I threw my vocals on top of it. I wrote the words and the music to the vocal part, and then he did all the instrumental things, and it came out pretty good, I think.
Okay. Well, we're gonna play that right here. I did notice a difference in this song when
Yeah,
you said that. Yeah.
yeah.
So.
It the mix is different. His guitar tone is different than the guitar tone I use.
Mm-hmm.
His is his is kind of more of a traditional metal guitar tone. I tend to gravitate more towards sort of um, the big fat warm sort of tone, and he has more of just a standard aggressive metal tone. And then one other thing I wanted to say before we play that song
Mm-hmm.
is the name of the song is Echoes, and just sort of the concept and the gist of the song is um, hearing the call, no matter what the situation you're in, no matter how noisy the world around you gets, um, or me anyway, because this is specifically
Mm-hmm.
talking about me, but I can hear, even when the world gets loud, I can still hear his voice. So that's what that's about.
All righty. And there we go. That was it, right?
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, I got to tell you, you may pass this on to him. You said Jason Sparks, right?
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, he's really good.
yeah.
Some parts of that remind me of Journey. I'm serious, Neil Sean type stuff.
Uh-huh.
It's a combination of a lot of things. I was hearing all kinds of stuff, metal, but also the classic rock that
Right.
just back and forth. And that guitar work was phenomenal. What he
Amazing.
does, yeah, what he does, yeah. So just pass that on to
Yeah,
him.
I will. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
very talented.
yeah. What did you think, Rob?
Oh, I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, uh, and that is good. That you know that even the message of the song. That's true. We got to get alone with the Lord, and you know, sometimes I call that "be still and know that I am God." Type thing, which
Mm.
is get away from the noise. you know, and I did that one time. I remember. Um, oh no, I've done it more than once, but this one time that I remember was really special to me. But I was in Colorado, up in Estes Park, and I was taking a hike. Probably shouldn't have done it on my own, but I did. and I went out by myself, but at the same time, it was my God time. But I was walking through mountain streams, and I got up into a high place, and I was listening to the wind, and it was silent out there. Okay, where you don't hear cars. There could be a car, but it's so far away that you can't even hear it at all. And no noise, no people, no city, no nothing. It's out there, and all you hear is God's creation. And I feel that in that way that I really connected with the Lord at that moment, and I even wrote a song out of it. But it was just one of those things where I just felt, wow, I was hearing God through that whole situation, and I felt joy, I felt good things, I felt great things just being away from the rest of the world. and I have those. I'm sure y'all have those moments, but we're talking about that. You talk about the echoes. There was some of that. And you could actually yell against the wall out there in the mountains and echo off there. But
Yeah.
it was just really a time where it was just me and the Lord, nobody else, and I think that's what we need because. And it doesn't have to be in the mountains. I just happened to use an illustration of what I did, but I have had times when I'm not in the mountains, that I'm just here somewhere, just spending time with the Lord. Even when I read His Word, and He's speaking to me, He said, "See, this is what I'm talking to you." I said, "Yes, I got it. I got it. I see what you're saying. There's something I got to fix in my life."
Mhm.
And the Lord always does. And people always laugh at this, but I don't say to do this all the time. But one time, there have been times that I open up the Bible, and for some reason, I land right somewhere where I never expected, and God just says something. Boom, you know, it's just like, oh wow, He wanted me to open it here, I guess, and I didn't intend it. It just I just was flipping my Bible open, and there it was, and I
Right.
said, I need to read something here, and I read it, and there it was, and it was in the Psalms, by the way, Rob. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
it, he gets me every time in there, but I just really I think that's a great song. I'm serious. That is, uh, you know, it's phenomenal work. Are you going to be working more with him then? Is that what we're?
Yeah, probably. We actually, um, I set up a specific publishing company under both of our names, Sparks and Brummel
Mm-hmm.
Publishing, to put on, because if you don't have your own publishing company, then they use their own. So like I use DistroKid, I think, to put all my stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have your own, then they use DistroKid Publishing as sort of the default. And so I made a publishing company for both the Ashes material and the collab that we do. Um, so yeah, we plan on doing some more stuff in the future. He every so often will send me a few tracks and say, "Hey, listen to these, see if anything strikes your fancy." And they're all good. I mean, but there's things that fit my style and there's things that don't.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he has other people also that he um, has do the vocals on his tracks. He'll use just whoever he can get. If they're, I mean, they're all pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But so this one just happened to fit very squarely within the music that I like to do, and so
Okay. Yeah.
went ahead and did it. And whenever he um, sends me another one that I really feel like I have to put something over, I will. And I don't think that's probably the last time that you'll hear a Chamber of Ashes track. Everything, by the way, that and the Ashes of Tyranny material, you can go, and it's on pretty much every streaming platform:
Okay.
Amazon, YouTube, Apple Music, uh, Spotify,
Spotify.
anything you can think of, iHeartRadio. It's probably up there. So
Well, you all heard that, so you can all listen to it. So, but yeah, I mean, uh, and I definitely like I said, I've always liked your stuff, Jamison. So that's why I brought you on, because your
well, good.
stuff is awesome.
I'm glad
Um,
you like it.
yeah, it's really good, and I knew Rob would like it. So I said I've got to get him to hear it. So, um, and yeah, I mean, I guess I had something else in my mind. I forgot what it was. Now I'm just like, hey, Rob, can you do so? I ask your own question. I'm trying to think.
Well, I've been listening to your stuff on Spotify, so I've been
Okay.
enjoying it.
Good.
So just keep up the good work.
Well, I will try.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Now, see, I lost my mind, but you helped jar it. um, have you ever had somebody who's heard your music, okay, out there say, "Hey, why don't you come out and perform or do something like that?" Has anybody ever approached you for that?
Not when I was doing just the putting music up on Spotify or whatever. But I have had people do in the past. I've done sort of more secular cover material, and like I've been out and I've played class reunions and things like that. And every once in a while, when I was in the middle of a set, somebody would walk up and say, "Hey, I really like what you do. Could you come, for play for this such and such?" And so it has happened. It just hasn't happened with the metal stuff that I throw up on Spotify.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering.
It also is a little different because um, we don't play live ever.
Mhm.
We don't have the members to be able to do that, and uh,
Right.
it's like we don't really get together, have rehearsals, anything like that. It's just kind of I come up with ideas and I put them down, and I have to learn them well enough to be able to play them once or twice, and that's pretty
Yeah.
much it. Um, but yeah,
Yeah. Well, I know there was another artist that I've listened to, and she's not a Christian artist as far as I know. Um, but she's does what I call symphonic metal, and
hmm
it's Celtic. Celtic in nature. It's kind of got a medieval type feel to it, and but she does symphonic metal, and she's got this beautiful voice. I mean, just that fits right with what she does. And she has some screamers that come on for her occasionally as guests, but she does all her stuff out of her home, off her computer, everything else.
yep.
She's got her own studio, and she's never toured, and she's got 5 kids. She's got 5 children.
Wow.
And they're not grown kids. I mean, they're the kind of kids that keep you busy.
Mm-hmm.
I said, how does she do that? I don't know, but that's why she doesn't tour. I think that's why she doesn't, because there's so many, big family she'd have to troop
Right.
around with her. But it's really interesting. What I was telling Rob is that how things are done today that were never done before, and that is that you can actually have a studio in your own home. You can actually create your own
Yeah.
recording place, because years ago we'd have to go seek them out and then pay big time money to record in those studios.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I was in a rock band, and I know at that time, and this was a long time ago, 1980s, I think, it was 3,000 an hour at Res Band Studios. They have their own studios. It was 3,000 an hour, and I said, "Gee, that's crazy." Uh,
Yeah.
but at that time, I thought it was crazy. But it's gone up, so
Yeah.
it's not even. So I think it's great though that you guys can come up with that stuff. Now, of course, you got to pay money to get all that stuff in your home,
Well,
right?
yeah. Yeah, but considerably less than you would have to pay because you if you had like a full recording studio back in the day, you had to have all this analog gear, and you had to have just
Hmm.
racks upon racks of expensive equipment that would
Right.
you could sink hundreds of thousands of dollars and still not have everything that you needed to record. Whereas today, you get a decent PC, and um, you get a program that you can record your music on, and most of those come with enough uh, software plugins that you can pretty much make a full mix. And now with things like uh, Spotify and all the streaming platforms, you really don't have to have the backing of a big record label or a big studio like you used to have before in order
Mhm.
to put music out. You can just kind of do it because everything is in a digital format anymore anyway, and so
Yeah.
there's the entry cap is much lower than it used to be. Now, granted, I have spent probably, well, not probably, but definitely more than I really have to get good recordings. But um, I'm kind of a perfectionist, and unfortunately for my wallet, that extends to my hobbies too. So if there's something
I hear you there.
if there's something out there
Mhm.
that I think is going to do a better job than what I have currently, even if I don't need it, I will usually try to find a way to um, acquire it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That is yeah. Um yeah, it is so different today. I mean, and even then people would go to the record store to get records. I
Yeah.
mean, this was the age of when I remember going to find my favorite record and have to go and do that. And now even CDs are becoming obsolete. I mean, really, honestly, the people are starting to get their music on little, you know, what do they call those things? I don't know. I'm not a tech person.
USB drive, thumb drive,
Yeah, a US, yeah, a thumb drive or a USB drive. They're getting it on that and saying, "Oh, I'll just play it right here." So it's like, wow, that just is like crazy. So I often wonder just what the CD world is anymore. Is it? I don't know if you know, but are they still making money in that industry or?
I really don't know. I mean, physical cost wise, honestly, CDs probably don't cost much to produce anyway, just
Uh
because
huh.
they're mostly made of plastic. So
Hmm.
I don't think the materials cost is really all that much. It's mostly just the cost of the recording and mixing and the audio production that goes into it, and so that exists with the digital formats as well. So um, I don't know. I don't know if uh, CDs are a big deal or not anymore.
Hmm.
I didn't even I didn't even bother to print CDs with the latest Ashes of Tyranny album that's up on
Mhm.
Spotify. So I had another one up there, and I do have physical copies of it, but it got taken down for whatever reason, and so I just haven't gone through the work of putting it up again. I don't know if I will, but that was when we were more secular in nature. Those
Mhm.
were, I don't know, just my old style, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
I used to have a lot more, um, wasn't as aggressive, let's say.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, it sounds. Oh, by the way, we did get a heart from somebody. They said they love this little video here, or this podcast. We got a
Cool.
little heart.
Well, that's good.
Ah, yeah, I see a heart in there. So that's good. And we did have, I think, about 4 people watching at one point. So, which was, pretty good too. Um, you know, so you have to get yourself out there, right? You promote yourself pretty
Well,
much.
when I can, yeah. What little
Yeah.
I do promote myself, I don't work very hard at it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we can tell people, and that's one of the reasons I have podcasts. I always try to get the word out, say, hey, check this person out, man.
Right.
That's
And
good, and I appreciate you, and I know that you do that, and so that's kind of why whenever I have new music, I hit you up and say, hey, you want to do another show? Because
yep, we got it.
I know that's one of the uh, ways to get out there, and uh, I don't do a lot, but what a little I do, I hope is somewhat effective. Anyway,
Right, right. Absolutely. And, do you see what you do as a ministry in that sense?
um,
Or
yeah, I mean, you could say that. I wouldn't definitely wouldn't consider myself a minister. Uh,
no?
I don't have the formal training or anything for
Right.
that, but um, yeah, you could think of it as something like that because uh, the lyrics to my songs and the songs themselves, they all have pretty deep meanings behind them, and a lot of them are spiritual in nature. And um, I could see where somebody could listen to the song, read the words, and um, be, I don't know.
Yeah. They'd hear
I
it
would,
and it would affect
I
them,
would
right?
say inspired, but that seems
Yeah.
like a little
Right.
egotistical for me to say that someone would be inspired by what I've done. But I mean, technically, it's really not me. It's all just, I'm the intermediary. I'm the pass through. Uh,
Right. Right. Right.
it's all the Lord speaking. And so if,
Right.
if that reaches people and gets them to, that's the one thing that I like about just all the different uh, genres of music and metal specifically is that somebody will listen to a metal song and they will get a different thing out of it than they would if the song were just classic rock, or if it were folk music, or somebody that listens to a metal song and enjoys metal will get a whole lot more out of a metal song than they will get out of a different style of music. And that's why I think it's a good thing that there are Christian artists out there that are doing that with the metal space, because
Mhm.
well, you never know who could just like the tune of your music and never have encountered Jesus before, and listen to it and think, well, man, maybe I ought to look into this guy Jesus. Um,
That happens a lot with Striper.
mhm.
They get a lot of these guys. I've actually seen them give a rundown of their album, and they're not even a Christian,
Yeah,
but they love Striper.
yeah.
And this one guy claimed he was an atheist and he was listening to Striper, and I said, "Really? How are you? How are you? Because they sing pretty forward about Jesus, and it's
Yeah.
pretty much in their lyrics." Maybe not as much as it used to be. I would tell you Striper's kind of morphed into something. I mean, they still sing about the Lord. Oh, don't get me wrong, but they
Right.
do have songs that aren't necessarily like that overtly that way.
Yep.
They kind of make you think. They're songs that make you think about things. You know what I mean? And so I, I've had a chance to see them, and I know that to them is in a way they do feel it's a ministry for what they do. And, you know, they're very clear about proclaiming Jesus when they're up there.
Right.
So that's awesome. You know, they still throw Bibles out. So they used to do that. They'd wing those things out there. I was like, man, that what if that hits somebody in the head? But I'm just kidding around. But seriously, they were winging out these Bibles that have striper on them and stuff. That was so funny. Um, but it was good because the gospel gets out,
Yeah.
and you know. But I would say that it's really good what you're doing, and
Thank you.
yes, we'll always play your music on here. Absolutely, I still have your songs. I've downloaded all of them, so I still have everything you gave me in the past too. So
Good.
so we're so a matter of fact, Rob, if you ever want to hear any of those, I'll pass them on to you.
Feel
So
free to pass it on to me.
yeah, I can do that for you. And you know, but it's been a great hour.
Yes.
And I thank you for coming on we
Well, thanks
played
for having me.
Echoes and Martyr, and you said that people can look at any of the platforms
Yeah.
like
Yep.
and find it.
Yep.
So um, now, how do they find? Is it just Ashes of Tyranny? They have to just look that up on Spotify or wherever, and it'll come up, right?
Ashes of Tyranny, yeah, is the band name that they can look up. And you see kind of behind us on the live stream, you see our logo back there. And so if you see
Right.
something that looks like that logo, then you've reached the right place. But then also the collaboration effort um, is
Hmm.
is under Chamber of Ashes. So if you look up Ashes of Tyranny, you won't get um, the collaboration. You have to put in Chamber of Ashes for that.
Chamber of Ashes for that. Okay, and that was on that song like Echoes, right?
Yep, that was the last one
Okay.
we did.
Okay, and yeah, just check it out, folks. Um, I appreciate all of you. By the way, I'm just going to let everybody know that this will be again aired on CTF TV one slash YouTube, and it'll also be on Spotify. We're on Spotify so that it gets replayed there, so you guys can all hear it again, or hear it for the first time if you weren't here the first time.
Very good.
So, but also, I just wanted to bring up one thing that I always do on my show. I have, and Rob knows all about this, is an organization that I support, and it is. I'm going to make sure I get the right one here. Let's see. Woo! It's called A Quarter Blue. Okay, it's for victims of sexual crimes, and this is. I'm going to put the advertisement up there. There it is. Okay, and they have both a trauma center and an education and training services. The trauma recovery center is for the victims themselves. The education and training services is for anybody who would want to be involved in that. They're in Orange, California. That phone number is right, 714-932-0845, or info at aquarterblue.org or www.aquarterblue.org. Either place you look for that. And if you call 714-932-0845, you'll get the sweet lady named Martha Nix Wade. And I've mentioned this to Rob, and he knows, but she was a cast member. Oh, I got to get that off there. Stop. Get off there. um, she was a cast member of the Waltons TV series many years ago. And she was in season 8, played one of the cousins, Serena Burton. But she also was on Days of Our Lives, and she was an actress for a little while. But she was also a victim of sexual crime when she was a child. And when she talks about how the Lord helped her go through that trauma and being healed, and all that stuff. She has a book about it, and so if you want to read her book or her story, it's it gives to this a quarter blue. Okay, it gives to the organization. We're trying our best to help get some donators or people that'll just give money one time to a quarter blue. They're funding themselves now. They're having to get money from their supporters because they used to be state funded until California dropped them like a bad habit. I don't know why, but that's California for you. So, Governor Newsom. Anyway, so anyway, what I was saying is that that's why I promote her on here. She's our sponsor, her organization, nonprofit organization. So remember, if you need that information, I'll always have it up, and you can check that out. But thank you, Jamison, for coming on. I really appreciate you being here. And Rob, you too.
Thank you.
Thanks
It
for
was
having
great.
me. Good to meet you, Rob.
Good to meet you too. We'll be talking more.
All right.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
we'll be talking in the future for sure, all of us. All right.
Oh, yes.
So
All right. Good
this
stuff.
is good night for now, folks. So see ya next time on Papa Bear and Big Dog's podcast.